Some people are just meant to relocate their permanent home to Buxton, North Carolina. Betty and Bruce Pritchard, in an interview with Sandy Jones Garrison on February 19, 2014, discuss why they chose Buxton. In this interview, they mentioned their current neighbors, the Perry and the Pratt families.
We went to pick up the real estate agent, and she showed us a couple properties, and they didn't do much for me. And when we turned onto Flowers Ridge Road, just as we turned off the Lighthouse Road, now remember, I've only lived in 2 houses in my whole life. As we turned onto the road, I said, oh, this feels like home. And before we got to the property, Bruce said, I forgot to tell you there's a graveyard, on the property. And I said, doesn't make a difference. It was a completely wooded lot, and we walked the lot, and I liked it. I really liked it. I looked at the graveyards out in front, the names on the graveyard. It was an old lighthouse keeper. And Cheryl was leaving, so we said we'd get back to her. We were going to lunch. We went to lunch. We went down to the Lighthouse bookstore, and we opened up a book on lighthouses, and the page came open to the dead man in our front yard. And I said, I think we're buying a piece of property.
Fate and destiny. I got more to that story. A couple years ago, I did the genealogy of my family. I grew up in Cape May. I knew that my dad's family was from down here. Not here, from down south. And so I started digging into genealogy, and it turns out that our family settled Bertie County in the late 1600s. One of the original settlers in North Carolina.
And you didn't know that?
I never knew that.
Until you moved here.
But wait a minute.
So it was kind of like a draw back.
And
that
then
I never knew about.
the properties in Bertie County touch Perry's property.
Yes, and I dug in further, and I found out my great-great-grandparents, no, the original ones in the 1600s, they had a plot, and they had joined a plot that turned out to be the Perrys, who lived right across the street. And next to that property was the Mizels, who are in George's family. So the 3 families from the 1600s ended up adjoining properties here in Buxton.